Yeah, so we've learned how to turn a setting on and off. We've learned where it's stored in the database as well. So now let's do a little bit of Moodle code, really. Let's make our own setting and store that in the database. So how would we make another checkbox if we wanted to do that? Well, first let's find somewhere that we want to add that. Maybe not here in the debugging. I want to find just a simple settings page. And I know there's one in plugins in blocks HTML. So this particular page here is pretty simple because it's just got the one checkbox. So all I want to do is add another checkbox underneath there. Let's, for example, let's find the settings page that we need for that. So you go and find that in blocks HTML settings. And you can see how simple the page is, really. Like, you've just got a settings object that you add a new settings object to, basically. So if we let's also look at here the get string. So this might be a bit confusing, but this is basically telling us what these strings are going to be here and here. This is the name and this is the description. So every setting has these two values and they are set here and here. And this identifier basically tells you where that lang string is in a lang file, which is here. Let's search for that. There you go. Allow additional. So that's where the actual visible name comes from, one that comes here. And we've just put that separately in a file just so we can easily translate it. So we can make, instead of English, we can make other languages. And we can also customize the lang string directly in the database as well. If we wanted to, maybe like some particular Moodle site wants this to say something else. Well, allow additional, maybe that's confusing for some people. They want to change it, so we can change it. Let's just go and, well, maybe let's just show this changing first. Like, this changes how the page looks. So I'm just going to make an update there to the lang string. Save. Refresh the page. And guess what? Moodle's doing that thing where you need to purge the caches. So that's just going to happen all the time. Another way to purge it is by clicking the purge all caches at the bottom. This only shows up if you're an admin. Right, yeah, I mean it's pretty slow because it has to load everything up again, I guess, but now you can see that the lang string is actually changed there in the UI to what we changed it to. Okay, so using the lang file, you can change a language string. Let's add our own setting as well. So I'm just going to copy that. I want to make another checkbox, and that's how easy it is to do. So I mean, this is what I want to show you. Like, Moodle is very extendable, and they've got internal code, APIs, and ways of doing things that make it easy a lot of the time. So we want to change the name. This setting is different from this setting internally when it's saved in the database, so we'll call it, test setting. Test setting Moodle. I'm sure that's not going to be taken by something else. And we also want to change, we want to get rid of that, and I'm just going to hard code a string here for now. Testing a setting. And we get rid of this one as well. Say, this is the description. So, I mean, you can see my IDE is kind of making this easy as well. It's going into this constructor, finding what our params are supposed to be called, like visible name, and then back where I am, it's kind of telling me what the constructor expects. So I mean that's just a nice little feature, but yeah, you can see that I'm just running testing a setting. This is a description. Cool. So if we save that and refresh, we should see our new setting show up there. There it is. So I mean that's how easy it is, and like obviously it's formatted in the right way. You know, all the CSS making it appear just like any other setting. So you don't have to write a lot of code to do something like that. And if we also say turn it on, you know, actually try to use the setting that has saved, and it is actually still checkbox. Like if I refresh the page, it should stay there. So it is saved, and it is saved because if we go into our config table, we can, for example, find our new setting, test setting Moodle value 1, and you know, if we turn it back off, for example, it'll turn back to 0. Wait for that to load. Yep. So easy. I mean, it's a cool way. I mean, that's how easy it is. In the next lectures, we can show how to read this setting, for example. Cool. So like we added a setting here in blocks HTML, and that works. We can see it here in Moodle. But I just want to explain here in this video that what we did here is actually pretty bad. We changed core Moodle code, which is something that we really don't ever want to do, and we shouldn't really need to do a lot of the time. Basically what happened is we have edited, you know, the core Moodle code, which means that, for example, if we want to update the code, like they might put in a new setting here in the future, just core Moodle might do it, and then when we try to update, we're going to get a merge conflict here when we do like the git merge, and we're going to have all these issues. We might also have introduced other bugs, like unforeseen bugs with when Moodle updates again, that we don't want to change how core works at all. If we want to add a new setting, new features, we don't want to have to change we don't want to have to hack into core Moodle. We want to extend Moodle. That's why it's called modular, the modular program. We want to extend it rather than hack into it. We can add a new plugin to do what we want to do. We can copy the whole HTML folder and make a new block basically, and then edit these files if we want to do that. It's better to do that than change the HTML folder itself. So I want to get rid of these changes again. And I want to also get rid of our langstring change. We don't want to make any changes in core. We want to extend core with plugins. That's the whole point of Moodle. All of these files here, like HTML, all of these blocks are basically a plugin. Even though they're part of core Moodle, they are core plugins, and they're using the same plugin APIs to connect from this code into core that we would use if we want to just make a new plugin. So that's what we should do, is extend it, make a new plugin that does what we want rather than change core.